The GOAT debate is so interesting to me because it's like you're trying to pick apart perfection on both sides. And that's why I think it's so silly when we do the La Flop stuff and the we done with the 90s stuff, even though maybe I agree, but not about Jordan. Because no matter what, both of these players are so much better than everyone else to ever play the game of basketball. For me, right now, they're number one and number two in whatever order. And then there's a tier after them, and then the next best players of all time. There's a whole tier separating them from whoever you think is the next best players, which I can do a list of my top 10 if people will be interested in that. But what makes it so funny is that these are literally the same guys, and if you replace them with each other, the exact same results would happen. When Michael Jordan entered the league, he was by far the best athlete to ever play the sport. As far as speed, jumping, flexibility, it made him completely unstoppable to stay in front of. Then you combine with his finishing and touch on jump shots and the way he's able to leverage his playmaking, you get by far, not even close, the greatest scorer ever. And because of that, since that's the most important skill, the greatest peak ever. Then when LeBron James enters the league, he is the best athlete by far as far as speed and jumping, and then he puts on the strength, and that combines into, I believe, the best athlete ever. On top of his GOAT level driving and finishing and his top five ever passing, you get the second greatest scorer ever, and then also ridiculous IQ that makes him a great defender, which combines into the second best peak ever. They're both just able to parlay their one of one athletic abilities with their one of one skill, making them so far and away the greatest to ever play the game. The distinction and why I believe Braun is the GOAT is because I think of GOAT in the sense that if I was going to choose any player in a fantasy draft and I got the first pick and I could choose them for their whole career, there's just no way I wouldn't take LeBron. 23 years of great play for me just trumps the superior peak of MJ. But these players are literally so close that I think if you sub them into their different eras onto each other's teams, I think they both win more rings than the other. Braun probably gets 7 or 8 because he doesn't take a break, and MJ probably gets 5 because he doesn't collapse against Dallas. These players are just so close, and the cult fan bases make it to where we have to act like it's not. The main separator that should determine your GOAT debate is, are you a value relative to era person or do you era tax? Because when you watch MJ play, the players on the court literally should not be on the same court as him. There's never been a player more better than their competition than MJ. Like, this dude, he's supposed to be this dude right here, Dan Marley. This dude, Dan Marley, he's supposed to be an MJ stopper. MJ's fucking him up in this game. That dude cannot guard him. But is it LeBron's fault that he had to contend with Tim Duncan, Kobe Bryant, the Big Three Celtics, and the Warriors dynasty all throughout his prime? The fact that he prevailed as the best player of the most talented era of basketball while still holding on as a borderline top 10 player into the next era is what makes him stand out as one of the greatest ever. So, even though he was not as dominant over his competition, the comp was much stiffer. So what do you think? What defines your GOAT?